Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be diving into comparing the old school rat runs versus the new Season 16 LON style rat runs. Diving into the numbers, comparing them, figuring out which one's better, and all that sort of stuff. And then at the end, I will be showing one of the best groups on hardcore doing one of these new LON rat runs. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so as we jump into it here, this is kind of the comparison image that I made when I was kind of taking notes and just doing some different crunching of numbers and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how I came to these numbers and these conclusions and kind of explain everything that you're seeing here on the screen. So our old school Rathma Mages using the Rathma 6-piece set is getting 4,000% damage per mage. And that build is able to use a convention of elements, which is going to triple your damage 33% of the time. Necro only has 3 elements that it cycles through, so convention of elements is actually really good for Necromancer, which means that it's going to be giving us an average of the 2,667, so we add that on to the 4,000% bonus per mage. That brings us to 6,666 per mage. And then with a Rathma build, you should be at 10 mages basically all the time. But just to account for those random times where it drops off, I put the average at 9.5. And then that brings us to 63,327 total mage damage. Now, when we swing over to the LON mages, we're actually getting 9,750 damage per mage because it's the LoN bonus times 13 pieces of gear. And then we don't get COE with the LoN, which is a huge damage nerf. But instead, we can add the Swampland Waders, which are about a 14% damage increase. It obviously depends a little bit on the pants, and that's not exact, but when I plugged it into D3 Planner, it seemed like it was about a 14% damage increase, so we have to take that into account because we can't use those pants on the Rathma Mages build. Everything else is pretty similar. They both use Taskers and Theo. They both use Rylena Shadowhook, so what we want to look at is the differences between the two. Now, with that being considered, it's going to bring our damage per mage to 11,115. And then I've tried to watch some streams and watch some really good players running the LoN Mages, and they can do a pretty good job of keeping up 8, 9, 10 mages, but there is those times where it does drop off a little bit, and that's more common than the Rathma build. So what I could gather as far as watching as many runs as I could and kind of keeping track the best I could was I'm going to put that average at about 7.8 mages. Now, obviously, the really good groups in a really good rift are probably going to average 9 mages, 9.2, something like that. But being a conservative estimate, we're going to say an average of 7.8, which brings us to 86,697 total. So, what this means is the LON build versus the Rathma build under these circumstances that I've calculated is a 36.9% damage increase for LON, which is going to be just over 2 GR levels. But when we consider that the LON build benefits a little bit more from pylons, I'm going to give it about 3 GR levels that the LON mage build can go over the Rathma build, which, you know, when I kind of looked into it and factored everything into kind of one little calculation, I was kind of coming to the conclusion that LON Mages are going to give you about 15% more XP if you're running it in kind of the same world that you're running Rathma Mages. Now, obviously, that's not going to be exact. Sometimes you're going to get 10% more XP. Sometimes you might get 20 to 25% more XP. It's going to kind of depend on the rift and the group and stuff like that. But all in all, encompassing, I was estimating that it's about a 15% buff to your XP per hour. Now, why are pylons stronger for LON mages? It's because the LON style has a higher ceiling. Under perfect circumstances, when things are going great, and the Necro has Simulacrum plus 10 mages up, the LON is definitely stronger. So when you have a channeling pylon, you have 10 mages, everything's going great, the ceiling is higher, and you're going to be crushing the rift better. Which is why, you know, I had to include that, because that does make a difference. That can shave 15 to 30 seconds off of a rift if you get really good pylons and you're killing elites during those pylons. And then just kind of all-encompassing the two builds, the mages are going to last longer on the Rathma, but there's going to be more burst, overkill, wasted damage, and that's because of COE. When COE comes up and you blow up the map, or you don't take advantage of your COE, that's wasted damage. Like if your COE is up while you're in between levels, and then when you fight, it's wasted. And that's why when I calculated it, I took all that out and just went with the average. I just went with 33% uptime and rolled that into the percentage calculation. But there can be, wasted damage with the Rathma style, and it's more bursty in general, whereas the LoN style is a little bit more consistent, and there's also going to be less simulacrum downtime on the LoN side because it's going to have a lot more cooldown because it's using Leoric Crown, which gives a massive buff to cooldown. So it's going to have a little bit more simulacrum uptime and give it the ability to crush good maps faster. So when you get that good rift on an LoN style, you're going to just blow it up even faster than a normal Rathma Mage build. But because the Rathma Mage build can use Circle of Nailuge, it's going to be able to keep mages up. It's going to be able to stay closer to that 10 mage threshold on bad maps, whereas the LoN style is going to struggle a little bit more on bad maps. So the floor is a little bit lower for the LoN, but the ceiling is a little bit higher for the LoN. So that's kind of everything that I think in terms of when I crunched everything. And I just wanted to kind of walk you through how I came to these numbers and these calculations. So what I'm going to do now is show one of my clanmates' perspective while doing a LoN Mage speed rift. And this group is one of the best groups on hardcore, so it's going to be a good rift to kind of watch and see how they run it. And in their run, they're getting about 2.1 trillion XP per hour, and that's without bonus XP pools. Most of your meta groups that are using DH, Barb, Z-Monk are going to be getting about 1 trillion XP per hour. Now, the really good ones are obviously going to get more than that, and the inexperienced ones are going to get less than that, but your average is about 1 trillion XP per hour when you're doing like GR100s in 3 minutes or so. The group that you're going to be watching here is getting about 2.1 trillion per hour, so about double the XP of your normal like Impale Charge Barb group. So yeah, I will drop a link to nCgBrokenString's stream if you want to check that out. He's one of the, I think he is the highest Paragon player on Seasonal Hardcore Americas, so a really good stream to check out. And yeah, that's going to conclude it for this video. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and stick around to see that LoN Mage run if you would like. All right, peace.